Kia ora everybody, welcome. As I mentioned in my previous post, I headed down to my old stomping ground of Swansea to attend the dawn service at the RSL. As I stood in solemn silence waiting for the ceremony to begin, the sun had not yet risen from its heavenly gate. But yet the horizon was a soft orange haze that backlit the sculpture that honours the fallen, as if in a heavenly theatre. My mind was totally enthralled in what it must have been like for my dad and uncle to have been continually hammered with a hail of artillery shells for hour after hour, or days even, wondering if it was ever going to subside. A situation they had never dreamed of when they left the small village of Moria in New Zealand. Not in a million years would they have guessed that. But in that moment of reflection, a wave of anguish flooded my body. A recording of a firefight blasted forth from the previously dormant PA system as it pierced the silence and tore the curtain of the dawning of the day. I could not overcome this terrible feeling of dread, thinking about the absolute terror those soldiers must have endured. As my body flinched with every bomb blast and the incessant machine gun fire, it was difficult to fully realise the plight my dad and my uncle Hingawaru had to bear. Then, for some strange reason, a wash of anxiety hit me hard. Bam! I had totally forgotten in my previous post to mention Dad and Uncle's younger brother Ted was in combat also, but years later in Malaya. I recall a story that my cousin Hingawaru Jr. proudly tells, and this was relayed to him by Uncle Ted himself, how he and his men were submerged for so many hours in a swamp with only a straw to breathe through, until their skin looked like wrinkled prunes. And staying underwater that length of time was their only means of surviving. Now I publicly apologise to his two daughters, Donna and Patricia, and my whānau for that matter, for my massive blunder and oversight. Your dad, my Uncle Ted, was a hero too. 3 heroes in our family, or as we say whānau, as the many other men and women who said, yes, I'll go to war. As I walked back to the car, the morning felt more like the AAC Day Memorial, like Australian Army Corps, no mention of the New Zealand troops at all. But I'll give them a point for flying the New Zealand flag next to the Australian one. Yeah, good, thanks for that. Now, the one thing I can say they got absolutely right was choosing Ritea Hickford for singing both the New Zealand and the Australian anthems. In the dawn's early light, I could barely make her out as I was some distance from where she was singing. But the moment she opened her mouth, the unmistakable sound of a Māori voice flooded my soul with all the mana and spiritual lessons of Aotearoa, the land of my birth. New Zealand, kainga tūturu.
Mō ngā iwi matora, a te whakaronoa, me aroha noa. Ki ahua ko te pai, ki a tautoa ka whai. Mana kitia mai Aotearoa. Australia. our land of bounty, the nation's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, then every stage, advanced Australia fair. In joyful strings, and let us sing. Advance Australia fair.
It's not just my observation. Others have mentioned this fact also. It seems the true meaning of ANZAC Day is slowly being eroded by time as each year passes. I wondered as I stood there in silence, how many even knew what ANZAC meant. Lest we forget. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them, remember them.